Alright, so now that none of the guys are here, you promised you'd teach me how to read so I could actually read and enjoy the comics themselves. What's going on?
Well, seeing as how I want you to like really learn about some really interesting things, PBS Channel 13 came out with some new comics called Nature Comics. Young kids, they sit
I like
around.
animals.
Yeah, you do. Well, you'll really like these, I think.
Okay.
Young kids like yourself, they sit down and they read all about the episodes, and then they go on and watch the episode. So it kind of gives it a connection.
And these stories are about the animals themselves?
And the episode, they're kind of linked to whatever animals that they're going to be featuring on PBS.
Is it the same, or is it they're like side stories of the animals that were in the episodes?
It either could be a side story or a segment.
Continuation, yeah.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Like they did a Penguins of the Antarctic. It was like this whole like documentary on penguins. So now this is like a little story about penguins.
No, that's cool because.
And then they get kids to read it.
I mean, I don't know anybody that doesn't like animals more than humans anyway. And you know, I mean, kids these days they don't really read a lot. I don't see hear anybody talk about reading books at all. So anything to get kids to read, pick up something, and read some words instead of on a video game screen, I think is a good idea.
And then if you're a really good boy, why don't you go to your teacher and ask them to go visit www.comicbookproject.org, and it gets teachers to really get involved with publishing and creating comics. Cool. So they get kids to create a project, they do an actual comic, they illustrate it, and then they publish it. So
that would actually be the kids' own comic that got published.
That's right.
That's a pretty fat
And they
idea.
work in teams, so it's kind of nice.
Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, man, that's really great. I think a lot of these ideas of trying to get people into reading and trying to bring back the old, the old classic stories like Marvel's got the Iliad.
So that the Punisher just rammed that donkey right up the its ass. So then.
Nothing. Nothing. We were just talking about killing people.
Oh.
Yeah, and Batman and the Punisher and things.
You getting ready or what's going on?
No, we'll leave him.
No, we're just chatting.
No, you guys can stay. We're going to do an episode. Tish can stick around for the show, right?
Yeah, we're cool.
No, I'd love to stay. Absolutely.
Right, cool. Yeah, we actually need a girl on the show anyway.
Well, I have a few comics. I didn't read too many this week.
That's okay.
I saw this really interesting one the other day on the show called Nature Comics. I was really enjoying that, but it seemed a little bit over my head.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pete's Basement. This is episode 10. This is a special, extra long episode because a lot of shit came out in the past 2 weeks and we're going to have to cover it all. Fresh off of our trip to Midtown Comics, we had a lot of fun with that. I hope you caught that.
And I'd like to thank everybody over there for not suing us. The outtakes will never be spoken of, I promise.
Never. We'd like to welcome our next guest onto the forum. This is Miss Letitia. She's a real girl, guys. They actually do read comics despite what you've heard.
And I have real boobs, too. It's good.
I'm leaving that alone. See, I'm not behave. Speaking of boobies, the cover of Green Lantern.
A winner.
All over it. Boobies just all over it.
All over.
This girl's got a lantern on her chest. That's pretty interesting. But, yeah, man, Green Lantern has been great. We've been telling you about this over and over again. Green Lantern 28 saw the first appearance of the Red Lantern.
Yes. And first mentioned the Orange Lantern, which is going to be interesting. They brought back the controllers, which were, to take it back now to show how fucking dated I am, back when they had the Dark Star series, they introduced the controllers as being like an alternative group to the Guardians. They're apparently the grandest bald prick fucks in the universe, and they're going to recast them that way to be in charge of the Orange Lantern Corps. And the introduction of the Red Lantern Corps is really
I mean, if you've been paying attention to Green Lantern, you kind of might have seen it coming, but still done really well, and I'm definitely sticking around with this one because, Blackest Night is coming next year, and
that's
going to be fat as hell.
Bury all the other crap that DC is shoveling at us this fucking year.
Did you read the Green Lantern Corps 22?
I dropped that bitch. That was a terrible book.
It's alright.
It's fucking terrible.
It's alright.
They tied together with Green Lantern really nicely, but the art sucks, the writing sucks, the fucking storyline sucks. It's just, it's a real side story. It's real B class. It's a nice cover. I mean, you can use the cover.
It's definitely a cool cover.
I'd definitely send the cover up in my bathroom. That's about it.
So basically, if you've got $3 extra burning a hole in your pocket, if you want to pick up a side story to the main Green Lantern book, you pick up Green Lantern Corps.
If it's a choice between a nickel bag and this comic, do not buy the comic. Is I think the point.
They don't even sell Nicks anymore, man. That shows how dated you are, man.
It shows that I live uptown, where you can still
Fair
buy
enough.
a fucking Nick.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
I haven't been reading Booster Gold.
Maybe I should be buying nickel.
No, I read it. I haven't read this one yet. Tell me what happened.
This is a continuation of all. It's issue 7, but it's a continuation of issue 0, which makes perfect fucking sense.
It goes from 0 to 7.
0 to 7.
Well, 7 is the next number after 0.
I don't know how I missed that.
I don't know what you learned in
It's a
school.
continuation of the whole bring back Ted Cord Blue Beetle. Not a bad story. Jeff Johns and the other guy, Katz, do a decent job on it.
The other guy.
Jeff Johns and the other Jew, whatever. And,
And he can say that.
yeah, I can get away with that. But
Yeah.
it's all right. It's the story's slower than I'd like, which is surprising because it's mostly fight scenes. But again, I think Dan Jurgens should give up the ghost, man. His artwork looks dated at this point, and the story doesn't move that much forward to me. Although I'm grateful for the Death of Superman stuff that you did. Don't take it too personally.
Now we're going to prove to you that girls actually do read comics. Alright, it's a little cliche, but Tish, want to tell us about Wonder Woman? Because none of us have been really paying attention besides for Terry Dawson's art.
Our tenuous grip on our masculinity would just be tipped over the fucking
Well,
edge.
I think it's changed a little bit because now they have a new writer, Gail Simone, who is probably the first female
she's
writer
fucking great.
for Wonder Woman ever. So, I mean, up to this point, they've only had males, and you see a lot of TNA with Wonder Woman all the time. She bending over in spots that she shouldn't, but it was pretty interesting.
No, she did good work in Birds of Prey.
Yeah,
I had hope for her to hear, but so far
Very
I don't see
homely
it.
looking.
It is very homely looking. A lot of the drawings weren't what I would have expected out of a Wonder Woman
Is it medium
comic.
or
You can't always expect an Ed Benes type of Wonder Woman, though. Actually, I don't really mind this too much. She kind of looks like she could really live next door to you.
The story is pretty good, so it kind of makes up for the
is this a good jump-on point for people who've never read a Wonder Woman book before?
Not really. I think you want to read some of the older ones first, and then go into this one.
This is issue 18, actually.
It's relatively new.
Gail Simone
And I
did
haven't
great
been
work.
and I haven't been reading it for a little while.
How long has Gail Simone been writing it?
I would say a few months.
I mean, Simone did great work on Secret Six. She was a good architect on all the spin-off books they did for Countdown last year, and that shit was actually
And Infinite Crisis had all the...
But she was featured in the New York Times, which is why I wanted to go back to reading Wonder Woman, because I hadn't read it in a little bit. So.
And she's good. I mean, I was actually glad that they put her on this book because I always felt that it seemed sort of stupid to have.
Apparently, we're going to have a little Wonder Woman Green Lantern crossover.
Yeah.
We might have to look into that a little closer.
Green Woman.
It's the next comic.
That sounds like a terrible lead into a porno.
Face the wrath of the Green Lantern Corps.
Face the wrath of the Green Lantern Corps.
It's got a ring where there shouldn't be a ring.
Wonderland.
Oh, man.
What? You're going to yell at me for that one? I didn't even say it outright. I only implied the humor.
I thought last episode was the filthiest one, but
Dude, come on, man. I didn't even say it.
The bear stick.
Let's just go on to Marvel. Marvel's better anyway. We had 3
Shout out to
DC
Danny
books.
for the bear stick. Which will
We're gonna make a bear stick just for Danny for the Comic-Con in April, and we're gonna have him walk around with it.
I really don't.
I don't want to see it.
Penance concluded this week.
No, it
Relentless.
was last week.
Last week?
Last week.
Yeah.
Okay, scratch that. Penance concluded last week. I still haven't picked this up, and Steve's gonna be a kind soul and loan this to me when he's done reading it. Tell me all about it. Just spoil it for me. I want to know all about it.
$10. He finally catches up with
Nitro?
Nitro.
And what a fucking cat!
And spoiler, but he
beats
the shit out of him. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's just so great. He does the more than that. He just tortures him. It's,
Yeah,
It's just and then,
I gotta say, this was one of the most satisfying fucking minis
Yeah,
that's come out in a minute, man. I don't know how Paul Jenkins isn't writing bigger books, man. This was fucking.
it was so good.
If you haven't bought this yet, you're fucking up. I fucked up by not picking it up till issue 3. But this is one of the best fucking books I've read in a minute. I'm collecting the. I'm gonna actually buy the trade.
I'm definitely getting the trade.
Like we were saying lately, a lot of endings have been
lackluster.
But this was
High five.
High five. I think T word.
That had to be the meat in the game of high five, right?
That was it. Penance was great, man. And I'm hoping that they do a second series. Pete's just so thrilled that someone gets it. Look at him. Look at him, he's turning purple.
Let's go on, Adam. Tell us about Thunderbolts, man. I dropped this after the first story arc.
Well, Penance actually spun out of Thunderbolt. They've actually dropped about 3 minis out of Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts, for those who don't remember, because the comic only comes out once every 11 years now, is about reformed villains who are being used by the government to act as superheroes.
Oh yeah, they're really reformed. All they want to do is kill people.